Have you had goals that you want to work on and things you want to do, but you can't seem to get to them? There's just so much going on, you don't have the time, all those things. If that's you, I'm there with you. I know exactly what you're going through because I'm going through it right now. I mean, of course, I've experienced it in the past, but I'm really right now going through this stage of really trying to work through working on a couple of big goals that I have. And it's been a real challenge and a learning experience. I've always been really goal driven, goal oriented. I could make a plan, stick to it, and follow through, and it was no issue. And it seems like I've landed, unbeknownst to me, in a new season of my life. Because I had moved to South America for a few years and just kind of like unentangled myself from everything about North American, especially American life, what it's like to live in America, which is definitely goal driven, success, all those things. And it was like that part of my brain just unwound, and I wanted it to. That's what I was doing. I was very intentional about that when I was traveling. But now that I'm back, I have things I want to do, and it's been a challenge to get them done. And so I want to share a little bit about my journey, what I'm doing here. Like, what is this all for? And what I'm learning as I do it. So stick around because I think you'll be able to relate to some of the things I have to share. So one of my goals is to lose weight. I've always been pretty healthy. And again, I think I've landed in this new season of my life where the weight is not so easy to like come off. I put on a couple pounds during like a transition in my life, moving, new job. And as I was getting accustomed to all of that, like I was eating more like calorie rich foods that were quite tasty, and mostly homemade. But still, they had more calories than my body needed, that's for sure. And I probably put on like 10 to 15 pounds in a few months, which is really a lot. I'm short, I'm like 5'2", so that's a lot of weight. So I've been really wanting to lose the weight. That's one of my big goals. And it used to be when I was younger, I could just get on my clean eating, low carb, keto, whatever, for a few weeks and the weight would just drop off. But it's not doing that right now. It's making me crazy. And so I have had to come to the realization that, oh, I have to do more. And I've always loved exercise, but again, with all the different transitions I've been having in my life, working a lot of hours, adjusting to a new schedule, all those things, working out kind of fell by the wayside. And it's been hard, even when you have really good habits, when you have a lot of change in your life, it's really easy to kind of lose track of them and lose your momentum. And that is definitely what happened to me. And so I actually went a couple months without really working out. Like I did work out, but like maybe once a week, which is like nothing, maybe twice. And what I've also realized is that this season of my life is age. Um, I'm going to be 52, which sounds crazy to me. 52 uh, in a couple weeks. And it's just what it takes to lose weight, what my body needs is so much more. And it takes more commitment. So I've been really struggling with that commitment. And so what's been happening is I would plan my workouts. Well, actually, for a while, I just didn't plan any workouts. I gave myself a little bit of grace, maybe a little too much or for too long, but it is what it is. I have to just love myself and, yeah, just nurture myself. I did the best I could at the time. But basically, as I was going through this transition, moving, getting settled, eating out, new job, lots of hours, I gave myself permission to be like, okay, you know, I don't know how to fit the workouts in right now. So I'm going to give myself some space with that. And I would work out, like I said, maybe once or twice a week, but not anywhere as regular as I used to, and definitely not the intensity. I was doing most of the time kind of lazy woman's workouts, like, who didn't really want to break a sweat. So, yeah, after a few months of this now, I'm just like, okay, the weight's not coming off. And also, I'm just feeling hmm, what do I want to call it? I don't know. It's kind of a malaise from being sedentary. When you move your body a lot, you are invigorated and energized. And when you don't, your energy becomes stagnant, your chi becomes stagnant. And I think it's also, I also know that taking care of my body is directly related to my spiritual growth, my emotional health, my cognitive ability, like all that stuff. So there's many good reasons to take care of my body and want to be in the best physical condition that I can be. So I I know all of these things, and yet, I mean, I put on the weight, and then I started, and I let that. I actually avoided getting on the scale for a while. Like, I noticed my pants were getting tighter, and I was just like, oh, I'm just a little bloated. And but when the bloating doesn't go away for a few months, then you realize, oh, this is actually real weight gain. And then I got on the scale, and I was like, oh my God, I gained like almost 15 pounds. So at that point, I was like, okay, I got to get serious. I got to do something about this. So it was changing my eating habits was easy for me because I feel instantly better when I eat high protein, low carb, vegetables, all that good stuff. For me, it's a lot. I don't think carbs are evil, and I do eat some, but when I eat them, um, or especially too much, whatever that means, depends what kind of food it is, I get tired. I My brain doesn't work as good. I have less energy and less clarity. And like I said, I know that taking care of my body is also part of it's a spiritual practice. Taking care of my body is both a physical thing to do in this world, but it's also um, taking care of my body is also a spiritual practice because I know that my body is a vessel. And if I could feel the difference when I'm feeling good, energized, taking care of myself, eating right, I find that it is much easier to connect to high vibration energies. I actually want to connect to them. And I also feel like in that state, I'm a better channel for that energy. That energy can move through me more easily. Um, and so it's really important to me to take care of myself. So, like, make no mistake, that taking care of your body is spiritual. So I made the decision. I was like, once I got on the scale, I was like, okay, this is a problem, and I'm gonna get myself on track. So change my diet like immediately. That has been fantastic. And it's not that I don't eat other things here and there. Like, I'll tell you, one of my favorite treat foods is pizza. And every so often I'll have a little bit of pizza. But and I don't believe in all or nothing. That's actually one of the kind of mindsets that I continue to work through, but especially with food. If I have an all or nothing like attitude or policy, it's going to be a problem. Like, if I say I can't have ice cream ever, that's when I'm going to binge on ice cream. So I don't do that to myself, and it works for me. I just don't tell myself there are nevers. I can never have X again. And by doing that, I give myself grace, and it doesn't become this like really appealing taboo thing that I want. So, like I said, getting back on track with the food was really easy, and it pays off like immediately for me. Um, so that was good. But the exercise has been a real challenge. I have always loved to exercise. I love to move my body. But after months of being so sedentary, I found like my body didn't want to move. I got really comfortable being sedentary and not moving. And I would wake up and do these half effort workouts and kind of like, barely get through them and not feel really great after them, not feel energized, not feel all of that stuff. But it was at least keeping my joints and my muscles moving, keeping my body limber. Um, I guess what I really want to share here is that like I was making a ton of excuses for myself, and there's not enough time. I'm too tired. I'll get to it tomorrow. I was definitely having an all or nothing attitude about the workouts. Like, I don't have time to do, 40 minutes of what I want to do, then I'm just not going to do anything. And that's what would happen. And there's just so many other goals that I have in my life that it was like, well, if I don't have, I don't have time. I don't have time for the exercise. Let me focus on the other things. And let me tell you, I paid a price for that. I just started to feel worse. Definitely just less clarity, less energy. And honestly, it's only recently that like I decided that I was going to journal about this, because I needed to kind of work things out in my own mind. Like, what's going on here? What am I doing to myself? And as I was journaling, one of the things that I really realized is that I had this attitude that for me kind of reminds me of when you're like a kid in school, and or when you're a kid period, and you come up with excuses, particularly to your teacher, about why you didn't do something or why you didn't get to something, or to your parents, to some kind of authority figure, and you find excuses for why you haven't done certain things, and you feel good because you made the excuse and you got away with it, and they were like, okay, yeah, I get it. That's a good reason, right? But as I was journaling, I realized that like I was making excuses to myself. And I know this sounds super basic, but the epiphany I had was that I'm making all these really good excuses to myself. They're really good excuses. I am tired. I really don't have a lot of time. I don't get to, I do want to work on other things. So, okay, just give up the workout. And what I realized is that I was really being a child. Like I was lying to myself. It's weird because it is like different parts of myself. So a part of me was feeding my another part, the part of me that's like in charge and trying to get stuff done, was a part of me was feeding that part excuses. And I felt good, like, yeah, I kind of got away with it. I got really good reasons why I'm not working out. But when 5, 6 months goes by and I've gained weight and I'm not feeling good, I'm not feeling energetic, my mood is like taking a nosedive because I just don't have the endorphins, just my blood, my circulation, my brain function, everything is taking a nosedive. As I was journaling about this recently, I was like, I have really good reasons not to work out. And the only person I'm hurting is myself. Like, I felt like when I was making up the excuses, I was getting away with something, right? Like, that's the feeling that's why it kind of reminded me of like being a kid and making up excuses when you're at school or with your parents. So I felt like I was getting away with something. Like, these are really good reasons. Like, anybody would agree these are good reasons. And then what? Like, yeah, I got like a dozen good reasons why I don't have time to work out. And all the while, my body is deteriorating, my energy is plummeting, my weight is not changing, um, and I don't feel good about myself. And to be honest, like, a part of me inside is also feeling guilty because, like, even though there's a part of me that's like happy that I'm getting away with it, right? Like, I got all these good excuses. The other part of me deep down was like really feeling angst and even a little bit of anxiety, just this nagging feeling that I know I should, I know I need to, I want to work out, but I'm just not making myself. So it's been a real learning experience because I really had to get real with myself and confront myself in terms of like recognizing that, yes, like, I've got really good reasons, excuses, whatever you want to call them, why I'm not working out. It all makes sense. So I can keep on making those excuses and never work out. And that is definitely not going to get me where I want to go. It's not going to help me achieve my goals. So as I was journaling, I was like, I accept, but this is one of the things that I really believe in is really like accepting the and acknowledging even the unpleasant things or the things that we want to push away, which for me really prevents them from getting bigger. So I just journaled about how, I really accept that I do have good reasons to work out, not to work out, right? Um, and I acknowledge that about my situation, and all of that can be true. And at the same time, I was like, if I choose to live my life by these excuses, nothing is going to change. You can have good reasons for why you're not doing something, but if you really want it, you have to acknowledge those reasons and figure out a way to go for it anyway. And that's what I really realized. Like, in my mind, I had thought that I really wanted to lose weight, and get back into shape. And I thought I felt motivated, but the excuses are proof that I really wasn't truly motivated. Like, there's some motivation there, but not the level of commitment. So I decided to really make the commitment and tell myself, yes, I'm tired. Yes, I got all the good reasons, but I'm going to go to the gym, or I sometimes do home workouts. I'm going to do it anyway. And what I have done is create a really, especially while I'm forming the new habit, create for myself a really doable schedule in order to make that happen. So for me, that schedule is right now 2 days a week of strength training, which I really need because I just have lost a lot of muscle tone. Um, and then on the other days, I do different sorts of things like aerobics, um, body work, yoga, Pilates, things like that. But I was like, I really needed to add in the strength training. That's kind of one of the things I had been avoiding as well. And so I made the decision to just add 2 days a week. It's kind of the minimum when I was like researching, building muscle mass and all that good stuff, that a minimum of 2 days a week is what you need. So I was like, okay, I can find 2 days a week to spend an hour doing strength training. And so I really made a commitment that I was not going to, like, yeah, I got the excuses, but the excuses aren't helping me. What do I really want? Who am I lying to? Who am I making excuses to? I'm making them to myself. And I'm also the one that suffers. So I decided that I didn't want that anymore. So I made a true commitment by acknowledging what was really going on with me, that there were these different parts of me, the part that wanted to make excuses, the part that was willing to accept them. But then the other thing that I did that really made a difference for me was, and I think it can be different for everyone, but I think it's essential to schedule the time to do whatever it is you want to do. So that's what I did. You know, with the week coming up on the weekend, I planned my workouts. I looked at my days really realistically because I am one of these people that's always trying to do too much. Like, I'll have a to-do list of 50 things that I think I'm going to do in a day, and it's not going to happen. So I went ahead and looked at my calendar and I was like, okay, well, this day I'm working late. This day I'm going in early. This day I wanted to take care of other things. And I very realistically planned the 2 days that I was going to go to the gym and do the strength training. And I got to tell you, when the first day came, I was ready with the excuses. I was like, well, I worked extra hours today because I was going to go in the, on one of the days I was going to go in the evening after work. And as the time was approaching, I was getting closer to getting out of work, looking at the clock. And I was like, I had brought all my clothes because that's one of the things you got to do. Like, make it easy for yourself. I packed up my gym bag the night before, made sure to bring the stuff in the car because I was like, I gave myself an out that morning. I told myself, if I don't feel like it, if I don't feel good, if I'm too exhausted, I don't have to go. But at least I'm going to bring the clothes with me, right? And that was essential. If I didn't do that, I wouldn't even have the option to go. So as the end of my workday came and I was realizing I was getting close to time to go to the gym, I really wanted to let myself off the hook. I was like, I worked all day, and but I looked at my phone and my calendar and I saw the time that was scheduled. I thought about what I felt when I put that on my schedule, the feeling of commitment and the desire I have to change my situation. And when I saw that on my calendar, I also thought, if I don't go to the gym, what else am I going to be doing? I don't own a TV, so I won't be sitting around watching TV. But what I probably end up doing is researching random stuff on the internet, listening to really good podcasts. But I can do that while I exercise, right? So I saw the visual cue on the calendar was huge. I saw it on my calendar, and I remembered. I thought back to my thought process when I put that on my calendar, and my level of commitment, my desire to show up for myself. I'm so proud of myself because I saw it. I thought back to the thoughts and motivation I had and my intention when I put it on my calendar. And I drove to the gym and I did an hour of strength training. It sounds small, but it was huge. It was so huge because that act, and I want to share this because I know so many of us struggle with changing behaviors. And sometimes it can seem like something so simple, like going to the gym. Like, why can't you just get to the gym? And yet, for me in my life, it felt like such a big obstacle. Like, I really had to make the time, but also psychologically get past all my excuses and my thought processes to talk myself out of the gym. So I went to the gym, had my workout, and wow. I mean, the workout was great, and I definitely felt great for it. But like, the even bigger payoff was keeping the promise to myself. And that's what I really want you to take away from this, is that you have good excuses for not doing the things that you want to do. But if you can make yourself find the strategies, the things that work to get yourself to keep a promise to yourself, it's going to just propel you forward. Because that's what I did. So I kept the promise to myself, and I felt so proud of myself. Like, I really hadn't felt that proud of myself in a while. and over something that might seem so ordinary to someone else. But I felt really proud of myself that I got myself to the gym, did a really good workout, and I felt like I could trust myself again. And that's what I had been missing, at least in that realm. It was like I didn't believe my own word anymore. I mean, I think that's real self confidence is when you know that you can trust yourself, confidence in yourself and your ability to follow through. And I had been missing all of that. So that one trip to the gym did that for me. And I let myself like really feel the high of that. Like, oh my God, I did it. I love me. I'm so great. And it definitely has motivated me to just continue to do that. I think I was really surprised at how big the feeling of pride was for doing this one little thing, for overcoming my excuses and allowing me to myself to talk myself out of it. So it was such a great experience. And I know because I've studied so much about willpower that, it willpower is a muscle that you can strengthen. And that the more you do something, the easier it becomes. And so I just want to encourage you to find a way to get it done. Schedule it and find a way to get it done. And one of the strategies that helps me is do the minimum effective dose, like 2 times a week. 2 times a week is very reasonable to get to the gym. I don't care how busy you are. If you can just figure out how to make yourself do it, how to truly be committed, follow through on your commitment to yourself, it is definitely a snowball effect. And I'm not saying that I'm getting like a runner's high from workouts just yet, but, and I'm not saying that I've got this like deep seated habit yet. I know that I have to really stay conscious and intentional in order to make sure I show up for myself. But I really, at the time that I did the workout and felt such happiness and pride and self confidence, I let that sink in. I journaled about it. I reveled in that feeling because I was like, you know what? I want to remember that this is how I feel when I follow through. This is how I feel when I show up for myself. And you can have that feeling too. I just want you to know that whatever it is that you want to do, however hard or big or even small, I think that sometimes the small things are even the hardest because you feel like you should definitely be getting it done and you can't figure out why you can't. Plan the time to do it just once and see how you feel and just anchor in that feeling of pride and satisfaction and self confidence so that you can take it with you to move forward and let it snowball. This channel is really about personal growth and spirituality because they go hand in hand. And I want to share my journey because I know that all of us are going through it. All of us have challenges. All of us have good reasons why we're not doing the things we want to do. And yet, it can be done. We can show up for ourselves. And yeah, I just want to share that thought and encourage you today, encourage you to know that you can do it and set a really small goal for yourself if that's what it takes for you to just take a step forward. I will at another time talk about the all or nothing thinking because that has definitely been an issue for me. And yeah, just set a small goal for yourself and get it done. And I'll talk to you soon and provide an update on how I'm doing. Um, and also just share more about my spiritual and personal growth journey. It's Thank you for watching. It's really a privilege to be able to share with all of you, anyone that takes the time to watch, because you're not alone. We're all in this together, and let's like lift each other up and support each other and be raw and open and vulnerable and share that sometimes it's really hard. And I'd love to hear what you do to make yourself do things that you have good excuses not to do. What do you do to make yourself follow through and show up for yourself? What are the strategies you use? There are really many that I use, but today I just wanted to talk about that idea of acknowledging the excuses and then making a plan anyway. It's not one or the other. Um, but anyway, that's it for today. I just want to send each and every person that watches this video powerful, loving energy, the energy to love yourself and to know that you are surrounded by love, by a wonderful high vibration energy that is all around us, that helps create the world that we live in. And if you choose to tap into it, it's there for you. Take care.